What's up, you guys? Outspeed here, and for this video I decided to just talk about a small thing that I had in terms of my opinion with Suicide Squad, the movie. Now, I already gave my reaction and my review of the movie in general before, so there's no need for me to retread old ground about my opinions on it. I said what I liked about it, said what I didn't like, and I said my whole opinions on how critics are being for the movie. That being said, my opinion for it still hasn't really changed to this day. I mean, now that I'm looking at it at a more objective standpoint, I can admit, yeah, the movie still had plenty of flaws and had plenty of issues, but not enough for me to just straight up say I didn't like it. I mean, I still loved it. There are things in the movie that I still really liked, and I'm not going to deny that I didn't enjoy them as much as I should have. But basically, I guess there was just one real thing that kind of bugged me about the movie. And yeah, there are a few things that actually bugged me about the movie, but for this video I just wanted to solely focus on the one thing that really bugged me about this movie that I really couldn't ignore. And that was its connection to the rest of this DC cinematic universe. Now, for those who pay attention to the DC cinematic universe's movies and its universe like I do, you tend to notice that each movie connects with one another. Like, Batman v Superman happened because of Man of Steel, with the Battle of Metropolis causing a lot of damage and creating a divide against people who thought Superman was a hero, worshipped him as a god, and the people who hated Superman and treated him like a monster. Now, and all of that happened because of what happened in Man of Steel, thus creating what's happening in the world of BVS, or at least in the movie of BVS. Now, after the end of BVS, where, spoiler alert, Superman dies, this leads into Suicide Squad, or at least it should. My issue with the whole connection is that in Suicide Squad, the only real feeling that you get that's what happened in BVS has an effect on Suicide Squad is near the beginning of the movie when Amanda Waller mentions about how the world changed when Superman flew through the sky and then changed again when he didn't. And also that one guy in that whole meeting where he was like, what if Superman decided to swoop down, go into the Oval Office, kidnap the president? Who would stop him? And then the last feeling that I get where the events of Batman v Superman connect into Suicide Squad are Batman's actions and how he doesn't kill his enemies, he's taken the miniguns off of his car, and so on and so forth. Now, honestly, other than those three things, I just don't feel like Suicide Squad was a movie that could really fit into the DC cinematic universe if they're going the route that Marvel's going, in that connecting all the movies together. And I just don't feel like Suicide Squad was a movie that was necessary to even be in the whole cinematic universe. I feel like that movie didn't really connect as well as Man of Steel and Batman v Superman did. I feel like Suicide Squad just kind of came out of nowhere and just threw itself right in the middle of BVS and Wonder Woman. I feel like the order in which this movie should have went was Man of Steel first, then a Batman solo, if Ben Affleck wasn't directing. Like, it would be Man of Steel, a Batman solo, Wonder Woman, then probably Suicide Squad. Or at least then probably BVS. To me personally, I would have preferred it be Man of Steel, Batman, Wonder Woman, then BVS, then Suicide Squad, then leading to Justice League. That's how I would have done it. But, the only issue with that is, the whole Bat solo, where, we already had 3 Batman movies already. Making another one would just be kind of unnecessary since we already know Batman's entire history. But back to the original thing at hand. I just don't feel like this movie connected that well with like Batman v Superman, or at least Man of Steel. how it could have connected was maybe an alien from outer space who, I guess you can say, heard the call that Lex Luthor had made on the ship. Like, Lex activating the ship had sent a beacon out to a sort of alien race to come swooping down onto Earth and causing major damage. Thus, Amanda Waller calling in the Suicide Squad to take out this threat. That's a way that I could have felt that Man of Steel and BVS have some sort of connection to Suicide Squad. You know, the concept of aliens coming down, and the whole thing that Lex Luthor said near the beginning of the movie about how more likely there are more of them, gods amongst men on our little blue planet. I would have felt like that, the whole aliens coming down onto Earth and the Suicide Squad taking care of those aliens would have made some sort of connection to the past movies so that it could really feel like this is all in one universe. However, that wasn't the case that I felt with Suicide Squad. I felt like Suicide Squad just kind of came out of nowhere, and I just felt like it came at at a bad time. You know, like I said, I would have preferred it would have been Man of Steel, Man of Steel, Batman Solo, Wonder Woman, then Batman v Superman, where all three of them connect into one movie because it's the Trinity movie, and then it would lead to Suicide Squad, which would be farther away from what was happening here, because the Bats will probably carry on seeing Harley, Joker, and all that, and then they would be integrated into the Suicide Squad movie, where, you know, we know a little bit more about them, from the Bat Solo, and so on and so forth. But this is just planning on my own. And then after the Suicide Squad would be Justice League, which would be a pretty good connection between the two. But yeah, I'm not one to deny that the DC Cinematic Universe's whole universe setup is flawless, because it really isn't. It doesn't mean I don't like it. I still like the movies. I just feel like their whole cinematic universe setup isn't 100% up to par. And it's one of the things that I've realized for Suicide Squad. I think Suicide Squad was a fun movie. I still think it's a good movie, in my opinion. But I felt like there were things that they could have done better to connect it to the past two movies of this cinematic universe. You know, I felt like those things could have been implemented a little bit better into Suicide Squad. So, because the next movie after Suicide Squad is Wonder Woman, and that doesn't feel like it connects well with the past movie, because there was no implication to it alluding to Wonder Woman, and that's my issue. I feel like Suicide Squad is kind of like that crutch. Like, Suicide Squad is the clutch for a better connection to this DC cinematic universe, because Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, then Suicide Squad, then Justice League would have been a much better connection, as opposed to Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, then Justice League. It completely messes up the whole connection of the universes, because it doesn't really connect well with the first two movies, and it really doesn't connect well with the next movie, with Wonder Woman. I feel like it just fisted itself right into the middle of things, and that kind of messes up the whole equilibrium, you could say. So I guess that was one of my biggest issues with Suicide Squad, in that its connection to the whole DC Cinematic Universe just came at a bad time. Hopefully this gets fixed a little bit, you know, when more movies come out. Hopefully we get to see better connections in the future. Hopefully, you know, Justice League, Wonder Woman, and the next few movies that are coming out for the DC Cinematic Universe will do better in terms of their connection with one another, because honestly, it has potential to work. It just has to get its bearings together with its connections, with the movies connecting from one to another. And I guess you can use the excuse in saying they're not really connecting a universe, they're just making different movies for the sake of making them because fans want them. And that's nice. That's great. But you also have to remember you have to connect your universe right. And I feel like the DC Cinematic Universe could really use some ironing out with what movies to put where. Hopefully this won't be an issue with the next few movies that'll come out, like The Flash and Aquaman, Justice League Dark, whenever that's coming out, and the recent Gotham City Sirens, which I haven't really talked about as much, but I'll talk about that at some point when we see the first trailer. And yeah, that's all I have to say for this. So, once again, thank you guys for watching my videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Peace.